Hey everyone, so a few weeks ago I made a video where I went over a bunch of different analog video connections with my hypothesis being that S-video was the best bang for your buck. And yeah, I think that video had some good content in it, but I was rewatching it today and there was just a bunch of like unneeded fluff in it. And it also went in a lot of weird directions. Like at one point I was almost having like an emotional fight with the Wii U gamepad. And so I decided to take that original content and divide it into 4 different episodes and also cut out a bunch of the fluff because yeah, it was like approaching 2 hours long. And so yeah, it might be a little hard to find useful information. So anyway, yeah, in this first video, we're going to compare S-video to RF and composite. And in the second video, we'll do S-video versus component. And then in the third video, we'll do S-video versus RGB. And the fourth video, we'll do S-video versus component again. But this time over component, we'll do a 30 kilohertz signal, or in other words, 480p. So anyway, for this first episode, let me show you the cables we're going to be using. All right, so here's the cables that I used in the original video. So this is the official Nintendo RF switch cable. You can see on there. And yeah, this one just modulates the video signal for coming from the Nintendo 64. And yeah, this gives you a nice RF signal. So RF, in case you didn't know, it sends the video signal over the AM frequency, and then it takes the audio signal and sends it over FM. And yeah, so that's why the audio signal over these RF connections actually comes over pretty clear, because it's going over FM. Whereas the video, to have a high fidelity analog video over FM, it would require a lot of bandwidth that NTSC just wasn't going to have. So yeah, so they just send over AM because it's a good trade-off with bandwidth and video quality. But that's why video looks pretty fuzzy over these RF connections. And then we're also going to then be comparing composite video as well. So composite video takes the video information, separates it from the audio. Yeah, and so yeah, it does sharpen up the image a little bit, just making that separation. And then the real star of the show, though, is S-video. So you can see there's 4 different pins in here, so it's a 4-DIN connector. And yeah, over one of the pins, it sends lume information or brightness information. And then over another pin, it sends chroma or color information. And then the other 2 pins are for ground. But yeah, just making that separation, though, from luma and chroma, as you see in the video, really, really makes S-video like leaps and bounds better than composite. And so yeah, so my hypothesis for going into these videos is that S-video is really the best bang for your buck analog connection, in the sense that it provides the best video quality leap from composite, and also it's like very widely available and pretty cheap to find. Like, you don't even need official cables necessarily for S-video. Like, for example, I have this cable that I got at a thrift store, and like a used game store, and yeah, it's just like a Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo 64 cable that then, you know, breaks off into S-video and composite. And yeah, but it actually has like really good quality over S-video. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the original video now that I made with a bunch of the fluff cut out. If you do want to see the original video, I mean, it's still available. You can, you know, binge that almost 2-hour video. So yeah, you can watch that if you want all the fluff and the Wii U gamepad drama. Yeah, go ahead and look that up. But anyway, let's get into this first episode. So this is a Sony CRT from 1996. So this is running through S-video right now. And I think it looks awesome. Like, it looks very sharp, like really no complaints. So I also have this hooked up to the composite input. So let's go ahead and switch to that and just see if we notice any differences.
All right. So yeah, I can already notice a difference. It's like, for example, this fence is a lot blurrier. I'm also seeing like some noise down here where the grass meets the path. But let's just kind of zoom up on this fence. Oh, and by the way, sound is S-video, no sound is composite. That's how you can tell the difference. So let's go back to S-video. Yeah, and you see like the grass line just really cleaned up, the fence cleaned up quite a bit. Let's go back to composite. So yeah, you can see, and even like around Mario, like there's just like a lot of noise and like just like white dots everywhere. See in the next video that just kind of all like cleans up. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Ah, I missed. Look, Goomba, if you don't attack me, I won't attack you. How about that? So anyway, let's look at this scene, for example. This is where I really noticed it for some reason in this level. So like, actually I won't tell you anything, just see if you notice the difference. So let's go to composite. Okay, so there's composite. Do you notice anything? Okay, let's go back to this video. Okay, did you notice anything? Yeah, I guess it's okay if you fall asleep, Mario. Let's go back to composite. Alright, I'm going to tell you the answer. So, you see these, again, it's these dots, the details. Like, it's really, you really notice it where there's a contrast in like the colors. Which I guess makes sense, because where the colors are, where there's a contrast, I mean, S-video divides the color signal from the contrast, or the luma, you know. So the light, it divides the light and the dark signal from the color signal, so it makes sense that that's where you see the most noise in composite video, because it just combines all that and meshes it up. Whereas S-video, it's all distinct and very nice. And S-video is technically a form of component, by the way, because it divides those two signals. But yeah, so anyway, just wanted to show you that on this TV. Now let's go on to I'll show you what it looks like on the JVC-D series. Hey, so actually, before we go on to the JVC-D series, I actually forgot. We need to talk about this. RF. Yes, my friend. RF. Yeah, this is actually the worst connection. Kind of glossed over because I, like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, yeah, everyone knows to skip this, but just in case this is all you have, yeah, I mean, composite is an upgrade over this. It's not a great upgrade, to tell you the truth. This actually doesn't look terrible compared to composite. I'll actually show you that on this Sony TV real quick before we switch to the JVC-D series. Alright, so here's composite. Again, it doesn't look terrible, especially if you hadn't already compared it to S-video. You know, maybe you might not even notice the difference, but where you have seen S-video before, then it's pretty obvious. Alright, so I unplugged the composite, and now here's RF. To me, it looks the same. Yeah, I really don't, I can't tell the difference between composite and RF. Like, you still see the interference in the colors. I mean, maybe this TV just is awesome with RF. I don't know. You know, maybe a little different on your TV. But yeah, I mean, in a way, actually, maybe even RF is even better than composite, because maybe it's so slightly softer. So it actually is like some of the artifacts, like I'm noticing on the hills, like Mario's hat and stuff, like looks a little softer, like maybe not as well defined. But actually, like on the hills and stuff, I'm not as noticing as much interference, maybe because some of that interference is just kind of blending into everything. So maybe it's a little blurrier image, but it's also kind of good because then it kind of hides some of the flaws of combining the luma and the chroma signals. Oh, okay, now actually, now that it's kind of zooming up, I am noticing something I wasn't seeing as much on composite, but I'm noticing like some interference here. Like if you look really closely, you can see a little bit of like static in the tree a little bit. Like I'm pretty close to the TV right now. You can kind of see it there. So let's see if that goes away with composite. Alright, so here's composite again. So yeah, the fuzziness went away. It does look more well defined. Okay, so here's RF again. basically, I'm trying to tell you what I'm seeing in real life and not just what you're seeing on the camera. But basically, like when I'm sitting, I'm probably like 3 feet away from the TV, which is still really close. But at least I'm not like, 5 inches away. But yeah, I mean, RF right now, seeing 3 feet away from the TV, to me it looks the same as composite. Especially when I'm not like stopped and like looking at like the foliage on a tree, like you really don't see like the static or anything. Like it might as well be composite right now. I guess one thing that composite might have over RF is that I don't know if you can do stereo with RF. So you know what? Let me reset. Hold on. I'll reset while I'm explaining what I'm going to do. So make sure I'm in stereo sound first. By the way, when the screen's all black, I do see more like interference from the RF, which you don't see in composite. Okay, so we are in stereo. Good. So yeah, I mean, I guess if the fuzzy stuff on black screens really bugs you, then yeah, maybe go with composite. So anyway, it's kind of scientific, I guess, but my way to test to see if we have stereo sound is I'm going to go by this chain chomp, and I'm going to have him be on my right side, and then that should supposedly then come out of the right speaker almost exclusively. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the menu here on the TV, and then I'm just going to like turn down the right speaker, and then if the chain chomp gets like significantly quieter, then I know that there is stereo sound. Alright, so let's go to balance, and let's turn it all the way to the left. Is this coming through, by the way? I'm going to turn this up a little bit so you can hear it better. Alright, so that is all the way to the left. Now let's turn it all the way to the right and see if the chain chomp gets louder. Yeah, I'd say he's getting louder. Like I can't tell if it's because I know the chain chomp is over there or because I can actually hear it out of the right speaker. But I do seem to hear it like louder out of the right speaker. So I'm gonna go with that. Yes, RF is stereo. And if someone knows better, please let me know. I'd love to be corrected if I'm wrong. So anyway, basically, if you have the choice between RF or composite, maybe go with composite, maybe go with RF. They kind of have both their pros and cons, where RF is kind of like a little softer, and so maybe it hides some of the flaws of composite, whereas composite is sharper, and so then you also like see those flaws where you then like even more you wish you had S-video. So I don't know, it's kind of sixes really, but anyway, basically the point is that still, if you have S-video, yeah, definitely go with that over a composite or RF. So, and now actually, before we go on to the JVC-D series, let's go to this Sony PVM here, because on here, if I remember correctly, there actually is a setting where you can turn off the comb filter, so then we can see what the comb filter looks like on and off on composite. Okay, so yeah, so here's this little 13-inch PVM. Hear the degosser there. Alright, this is why you should never use a composite on a PVM. Man, boy. So the PVM is so sharp that, man, like, so where the other TV was taking composite and like showing all of its dirty flaws, like the PVM takes composite and shows the flaws to like a whole other level. Holy cow. Like, this looks so bad right now. And this is like, this is a standard definition PVM. Like, this is analog 240p. Like, it is 240p. You can see the black lines in between the scan lines. Maybe you can't tell on the camera, but I can see it in real life. So, I mean, this is 240p. Holy cow, this looks so bad. Like, I would almost prefer to play this on a modern digital TV than this. Like there's just like this really ugly, like the lines that were around Mario before. like the little dots and stuff are just like this PVM is so sharp that it is like really emphasizing all of the flaws of composite. Dude, remember what I told you? You don't touch me, I don't touch you. It's mutual respect. Okay, I was just standing there doing nothing. The comb must be off right now because this just looks really bad. So let's see if we can figure out how to turn on the comb. Color select, perhaps? Oh, here we go. Here's NTSC. Oh, wow, the comb filter was on. So that was auto. But then when I just go to regular NTSC, that actually smooths it out more than the comb filter. Wow. So, holy cow, look at that. So that was not the that was not the results I was expecting to see on this. I thought the comb filter was going to make it look better. What is going on? Wow, this is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, guys. Here's with the comb filter off. And then here's with the comb filter on. Like, it looks so bad. Like, I'm going to leave the comb filter off on this PVM. Like, the line here, like, there's not supposed to be, like, a white line between the heel and, like, the dirt behind the heel. It's so bad. But then when you turn that off, it actually looks, like, kind of almost the same as what it looked like on that Sony consumer set that I was just testing. Brother. Maybe it'll depend on what kind of PVM you have. This is one from 2003, so it's a pretty new one, pretty recent one. Now, just for kicks, let's plug in S-Video to this PVM. Alright, folks, and here you have S-Video running on this PVM. Now, that is what I call a crisp image. I'm going to say maybe it's a little bit too crisp. Wow, yeah, the colors really pop out too. Look at that. Yeah, that is very nice. Yeah, I see that hill back there. Looks very, very well defined. So now let's go ahead and switch to composite just for comparison. So yeah, here's composite. This must have the notch filter on since I did a factory reset. But yeah, it just looks really bad. You can see that really white line there compared to S-Video. So anyway, now let's finally go on to the JVC D series, I guess. Alright, and here's my JVC D series from, I think, like 2003 or something like that, 2004. It's one of the later ones. Turn that on. Alright, and I actually don't remember what input. No, this would be S-Video because the sound's playing. I plugged in the sound S-Video. Now, this TV is pretty awesome. So right now you can see right off the bat, it looks good. Just about as good as the Sony CRT. I'd actually say it looks better. The colors really pop out of this screen. To tell you the truth, I think this actually looks better than the PVM too. Yeah, and this is a 32-inch screen as well. So, yeah, nice and big. It looks better in real life, like Mario's pants don't look sky blue. But anyway, let's switch to composite now. Alright, so here's composite. So yeah, see, man, I'm telling you, this TV is like a champ. It is a champ. Like, I don't know if it's the comb filter. I assume it's the comb filter, but I mean, apparently sometimes the comb filter makes the image worse on composite, as we saw in the PVM. But man, I don't know. Like there are like no like stray lines, like on that heel that we were looking at before. Remember on the Sony CRTs, there was like really bad like artifacts there. On here, it looks perfect. Like, so here's S-Video again with the sound, right? Yeah, going to composite. It looks almost identical. I'd say it's a hair sharper on S-Video, but really just goes to show that if you have a high quality TV, like, there really is hardly any difference. I'm trying to like notice a difference to like still prove my original hypothesis that S-Video is like so much better than composite, but like I'm really having a hard time telling the difference. Okay, I think I found something that's like very minor that you probably would never notice in actual gameplay. I'm thinking that there's like a little bit more noise in composite, like in the distance. Let me just double check. Whoops, that was too far. Yes, there is. Okay, good. Yes. yes, I can still diss on Composite and feel good about myself. Okay, right here. This is where I'm noticing the difference on this TV. So this is Composite. Let's go back to this video. Alright, so now you can see that's a lot more well-defined right here. Yeah. Let's go to Composite. See there? Those lines in between there. So there you go. Even on this master of a TV, the JVC D series, Composite still isn't as good as this video. But you do have to admittedly get pretty close to the screen to tell a difference, so. Yeah, but now I think hopefully I've convinced you that S-Video is better than Composite, and like for most TVs it's like leaps and bounds better, right? And it's also better than RF. Now this JVC D series has a component input on the back, so let's move over to the Wii and let's test some component and S-Video.
Alright, and that'll do it for this first episode. S-Video fared pretty well against Composite and RF, didn't it? However, how will it fare against Component? Well, stay tuned and we'll find out. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all the new videos, and also leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Love the constructive feedback, or if there's something you like, or if you'd like to see other tests, let me know. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I missed.